All right, let's dive right in. We're talking about the explosive clash between Jeffrey Epstein's survivors and former President Donald Trump. We're going to break down exactly what went down. And it really all comes down to this one quote. This sentence from survivor Jena-Lisa Jones, wow. It just perfectly sums up the raw emotion at the center of this entire firestorm.
So, what's the real story here? How did we get to this point? Let's get into it. And hey, before we do me a favor and smash that subscribe button.
Okay, so our story kicks off in Washington, D.C. This is where a group of survivors went to make a very public, very powerful plea right on the steps of the U.S. Capitol.
The date was September 3rd, 2025. You had survivors, their families, and even members of Congress holding this press conference. They were there to share their stories and demand, some real action. The whole scene was incredibly intense.
And their mission was crystal clear. They wanted everything out in the open, the full release of the Epstein files, real accountability for everyone involved, and a complete end to the cover-ups they feel have been protecting powerful people for way too long.
But right as the survivors are telling their truths, the whole narrative takes a sharp, unexpected turn. Because from the Oval Office, then President Trump had his own response. And this, right here, just shows you the massive disconnect. On one side, you've got survivors like Haley Robinson saying it plainly. The abuse was real. But on the other side, the president called the whole thing a Democrat hoax that never ends. I mean, it's like two totally different realities colliding right in front of everyone.
Well, one survivor, Jena-Lisa Jones, she was not about to let that comment slide. That very same night, she went on TV to respond directly to the president.
And this is the part that's just a total bombshell. She didn't start with anger. She started with this statement that completely changed the game. She was a Trump voter. So this wasn't some political opponent. This was one of his own supporters. She went on to explain it, saying she put her hope in him, that he was supposed to protect people. You can just feel the betrayal in those words, The feeling that the very person she trusted to lead had just completely invalidated her entire experience. And all that disappointment just boiled down to this one incredibly direct and emotional question. It's just this powerful statement of feeling totally abandoned when she needed support the most. Then she tried to make it personal. She appealed to him not as a politician, but just as a dad. She basically asked him to imagine if his own daughter had gone through what they had, a really powerful way to try and find some common ground. Her questions then led to the one accusation at the absolute heart of all this frustration. And it's a question that connects directly to the long and very complicated history between Trump and Epstein. So to really get the weight of that question, you need a little context. Their friendship was well known for years, from parties in New York to hangouts at Mar-a-Lago. There's that infamous 2002 quote where Trump called Epstein a terrific guy. Of course, today, Trump says he knew nothing about the crimes and has totally distanced himself. But here's the thing. According to another survivor, this friendship was apparently Epstein's biggest brag. He even supposedly kept a framed picture of him and Trump right there on his desk. So that's the history that's just hanging over this entire confrontation. And it's so important to remember. For these survivors, their fight for the truth has absolutely nothing to do with politics. This is not a partisan thing for them at all. And here's Haley Robinson again. She actually made a point of saying she's a registered Republican before stating, flat out, there is no hoax, the abuse was real. It's just a direct shot at that narrative, proving that survivors from all over the political map are completely united on this. Which brings us right back to the central question, the one Jena-Lisa Jones aimed directly at the president. She basically said, nobody's accusing you. But the fact that he's saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that is the question that the survivors have left hanging in the air. A question that, right now, has no answer. So what do you think? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.